changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. It's Wow Wednesday, and I want to share a story from one of our books about positive thinking and turning lemons into lemonade. Maureen Cotter tells us that she was a single mom of 4 children. Her husband was an alcoholic and had left them, and he provided them with no support at all. So Maureen found a part-time job in a law firm, and she worked until the middle of the day and then rushed home to be with the kids when they got home from school. Needless to say, she lived paycheck to paycheck, struggling to raise her kids in a nice neighborhood. They wore hand-me-downs, but they had a place to live and food to eat. She was able to provide the basics, which was enough and was actually a major achievement for her. Her oldest child got a paper route when he was 12 years old, and he shared it with his 11-year-old brother. They delivered papers 7 days a week, and that was how they made their spending money. When there was a snowstorm, the neighbors would call to see if one of the boys could shovel their walk, and so that was another way they could bring in some income. And if for some reason the boys weren't available, then Maureen's daughter, the 3rd child, would go in their place. Maureen's youngest, who was in kindergarten, had a job too. He would take his grandfather for a walk around the block each day after school. His grandfather had had a stroke, and the doctor wanted him to get up and out. So these were great kids that Maureen had. They didn't complain about their family's reduced circumstances, and they helped out any way they could. And she thought that she had fooled them. She thought they had no idea how tight money was. She made them lunch every day because she couldn't afford to pay for the school lunches, but she always put in a fun snack, something that she bought in bulk at a discount store. Apparently, she was wrong. The kids did know that there was a problem. And one day, she went looking in her wallet, which she knew was empty, but she looked in there anyway, just in case there was some miracle. And she found $4 in there, and it hadn't been there before. There had been no money in there. And this was in the late 1960s, by the way. So finding $4 was more like finding $20 today. She couldn't imagine how she could have forgotten that money, but she shrugged it off until it happened again. And again she shrugged it off, wondering why she was becoming so forgetful. And then it happened again, and she came upon the kids standing by her purse and whispering. Now, they had a very strict rule in their house that no one was to touch her purse. But she watched secretly, and she discovered 4 sneaky little angels putting their hard-earned money right into her wallet. She waited a day, and then she said something about having found unexpected money in her purse, and no one said a word. Maureen says she almost admired them more for their ability to keep the secret than she admired them for unselfishly sharing the money that they had earned. She says she still wishes she could have provided more for them growing up, but the whole situation was a blessing in disguise. Her 4 children grew up to be confident, responsible, and caring adults. And that's why we published that story in Chicken Soup for the Soul, From Lemons to Lemonade. Those were terrific kids, right? I somehow suspect that Maureen was an amazing mother as well, and she deserves a lot of credit for those kids. Tomorrow is Thoughtful Thursday, and we're going to talk about another woman who overcame a challenge by talking herself into portraying herself as way more confident than she really was. It's a technique that we've seen work over and over again, and it's a great idea for the new year. I'm Amy Newmark. Thank you for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast. If you want to read more stories from our Lemons to Lemonade book about upbeat people who find the positive no matter the circumstances, please go to our website, chickensoup.com.